Time to turn our attention to another salient issue: Nigerians' dwindling interest in Africa's first digital currency. The eNAIRA has created space for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to thrive. This is according to data acquired from a Google analysis of Nigerians' interests trend over time. Interestingly, from October 24, 2021 to October 30, 2022, Nigerians' interest in eNAIRA momentarily outpaced that of cryptocurrencies, indicating that the eNAIRA launch had a broad appeal and that most Nigerians were eager to see what the CBN could offer. However, after the launch of the eNAIRA on October 25, 2021, interest in Nigeria's digital currency quickly started to trend downwards rapidly, while interest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies surged around the same period. Now let's take a look at the latest data released by Google. According to the data, interest in the eNAIRA significantly reduced, similar to regions between or before the announcement of the eNAIRA. October 24 to 30, 2021, according to data, interest in the eNAIRA was at 43 index point, while interest in cryptocurrencies was at 4 index point. However, the interest on eNAIRA as of March 20 to 26, 2022 was at less than 1 index point compared to 43 index point it had on October 24 to 30, 2021. Yobe, Kano, Adamawa, Zamfara, and Jigawa State are currently the most interested in eNAIRA, while Ebonyi, Anambra, Enugu, Kano, and Akwa Ibom led the way in cryptocurrency interest. However, the flagship cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, continues to pique Nigerians' curiosity above searches on eNAIRA and cryptocurrency searches. Anambra, Delta, Bayelsa, Edo, and Ebonyi were among the states that were interested in Bitcoin. Now let's further analyze the situation, and joining me to do that is Gamaliel Tanimomo. He is a professional with 15 years of progressive career progression and hands-on experience. He would be discussing this with us on the show this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Gamaliel Tanimomo.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, and good morning to our viewers.
Now, Nigeria launched Africa's first central bank digital currency, CBDC, in October 2021. However, just a few months down the line, data from a Google analysis of Nigerian interest trends over time reveals that the Central Bank of Nigeria's inability to maintain Nigerians' interest in Africa's first digital currency, the eNAIRA, has created space for Bitcoin and other currencies to thrive. What do you think is responsible for this loss of interest?
Okay, thank you for having me, and good morning to our viewers. So I think first off is the issue of trust on the part of government. And it is because of the antecedent that we have. First, it is a good thing. Yes. Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you. But we're still talking about the issue, or the latest report that Nigerians have lost interest on the in the eNAIRA, which was launched in October last year, and then they have now channeled that interest to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And Gamaliel Tanimomo is our analyst on the show this morning, talking to us about why this loss of interest. Mr. Gamaliel.
Yes, can you hear me?
Mr. Gamaliel, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so the speculation and fear is because of the lack of trust in government.
Well, sadly, I can't hear Mr. Gamaliel. We might have to take a break. When we'll come back, we'll try to fix that, and when we'll come back, the conversation continues. Please stay with us. right, Gamaliel Tanimomo is still with us, talking about why Nigerians have lost interest in the recently launched eNAIRA. Please go ahead, Mr. Tanimomo. Gamaliel. Okay. Okay, please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Okay, so if you look at the cryptocurrency vis-a-vis the eNAIRA,
Okay. Looks like
the government clearly is in charge of the eNAIRA. The government clearly monitors the eNAIRA. The eNAIRA doesn't thrive on the blockchain modus operandi like the cryptocurrency. And looking at the backlash and the trend of events that led to the eNAIRA, I am of the opinion that the eNAIRA is just some psychological feeling for the government.
How do you mean?
Okay, so we all know what happened during NSAS and how that idea was funded due to the cryptocurrencies, from the cryptocurrencies. And we know how the government went ahead to clamp down on supposed financiers of that issue. But then, because crypto was the modus operandi for funding it, the government lost hand. They couldn't handle it. And perhaps that was what motivated or necessitated the need for the eNAIRA.
Mr. Tanimomo. Okay, looks like we've lost audio with Mr. Tanimomo. We'll try to fix that, but he was making reference to the NSAS protest that happened in 2020, saying that that was what instituted or what led to the eNAIRA by the CBN. Mr. Tanimomo.
Yes, can you hear me?
Please go ahead, I can hear you.
Okay, so let me take us down memory lane. In February, the CBN boasted that at least in its first 3 weeks, it will have 500,000 users adopt the eNAIRA. But I can tell you that only 4% have adopted the eNAIRA, and what's more, 64% don't even have an idea of what the eNAIRA is. And then all the banks have gone ahead to go replicate their systems and structures and all of that. So it is likely because of lack of trust on the part of the government. That is why the eNAIRA has not gained adoption. Now, this might not be related, but let us look at this narrative. The Kaduna train issue, the kidnapping and all of that. Bandits have gone ahead to start contacting the people that were kidnapped. And how come the NCC has not been able to track down these bandits? It gives me a cause of worry. And then we say we're fighting terrorism. And then, so what is the issue of the name? Why are we doing name? Why are we doing BVN? If all of this data cannot help us to address basic fundamental needs, security, and all of that. So that's my reason.
But you talked about the fact that there isn't enough awareness or sensitization as regards the functionality or the function of the eNAIRA. But would you say that the federal government or the CBN didn't do enough in creating awareness, because there were different promos and education going on different platforms, educating people as regards what the eNAIRA would do and the essence of the eNAIRA?
So, like I said, the eNAIRA is a fantastic idea. It will further drive inclusion. And inclusion is the next level in our economic system. Now, this is what I mean. About 37 million or less people have BVNs or have names. So it means that in a country of 200 million people, about 100 million people are still disenfranchised or cannot access financial services.
Unbanked.
So if we handle eNAIRA well, it will take financial services to the grassroots. So Mama Nureni in Ikorodu or in my village can get money because she subscribes to the eNAIRA. But because the government has lost trust and credibility, That is why such an idea like that, even though it is laudable, has not gained the desired attention and embrace from the populace. That is why.
But
So
initially,
6 months,
okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, 6 months after his
Mr. Tanimomo. Okay, so I was going to come in there, considering the fact that when it was initially launched in October 24, 2021, or rather it was launched in October 25 years, but from October 24 to October 30, 2022, Nigerians' interest increased momentarily, and it outpaced that of cryptocurrencies, indicating that the eNAIRA launch had a broad appeal. That was what it appeared to be, at least. But over time, we saw that Nigerians now, the interest declined. That was as at October 25, 2021. And we now saw that interest diverted into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Do you think that there's something more that the CBN could have done to sustain that interest? Because, of course, it wasn't as if right from the onset Nigerians weren't interested in delving or in adopting the eNAIRA. Mr. Tanimomo.
Okay, so what I would have expected the CBN to do, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Is to do more of use cases of the eNAIRA. So if you tell me that 5 billion people have used the eNAIRA, then let me have use cases. Let me tell stories of this success. Because you know the government is very powerful and the media is also powerful.
But
so
it was
we can
all over
spin
the media back then. They were talking about the percentage of Nigerians who had adopted it, the percentage of downloads and all of that. It was all over the media.
Yes, you agree with me that media can sometimes become a mirage. The more you look, the less you see. So the government can spin all the narratives and tell you 120 million people have adopted eNAIRA. But do you know anyone who have started using eNAIRA? Have you started using the eNAIRA? That is a big question. Have I started using the eNAIRA? So that is it.
Are you saying the interest was never there? Are you saying this data is wrong?
I am not saying the data is wrong, but I'm saying that the use cases are not there. We don't have use cases. And as a management consultant, there's something you call a proof of concept. If you have an idea and you don't have a proof of concept, it's going to rub off on the value and the demand of that idea. And that is what has happened to the eNAIRA. Yes, maybe there was some adoption, maybe there was some usage, but that usage and adoption was not made public. There wasn't so much of fun and fanfare about it. Let them bring eNAIRA to the K2 market. Let them bring it to the Magodo market. Let them bring it to the Korodu market. That is where eNAIRA is needed. If you don't get those stories, I'm sorry, no one is going to believe the eNAIRA.
But isn't it a paradox, considering the fact that cryptocurrencies and enabling payment for cryptocurrency exchanges are unlawful, according to the CBN directive to deposit money banks, non-bank financial institutions, and other regulated financial institutions? In January 2017, the CBN issued a circular titled Circular to Banks and Other Financial Institutions on Virtual Currency Operations in Nigeria, citing concerns about virtual currencies. And of course, you're aware of the fact that they stopped banks from involving themselves in cryptocurrency transactions. And despite this regulation, Nigerians' curiosity is still on the rise. Why do you think this is so?
So a popular cliche says curiosity kills the cat. And that is what is happening to Nigerians. So let me quickly digress a little bit. 2021, China launched its own CBDC, the digital yuan. And can I shock you that it has processed over 8 billion worth of transactions as at the second half of 2021, and it has gained over 260 million users. China and Nigeria, two countries launching the same CBDC at the same time. One has gained traction, the other is still crawling. What is the problem? So that is where we are. That's the challenge. So people will definitely cryptocurrency because it is safe, government can't view it, and then there's some measure.
So you're saying that the ban or the regulation, because they're saying it's not a ban, the regulation by the CBN had no impact whatsoever on the adoption or the interest of Nigerians in the cryptocurrency.
at all, at all, at all. So the average Nigerian will prefer to go for cryptocurrencies rather than going for the eNAIRA.
Now, the CBN also explained that the eNAIRA was an electronic version of the local paper Naira currency, equal in value and also issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And they also said that it wasn't intended to replace cash, but to function as a safe and efficient alternative means of payment. Now, one of the questions this has raised was if there was a need for this, considering the fact that there are several other means of electronic transaction. You have the mobile banking, the POS, and all of that. Was there a need for this invention?
Again, I said earlier on that I think that the eNAIRA was more of a psychological satisfaction to the government. And I say it again. So look at the bank cards. If you go outside the country, the limit on your bank cards is $100. How does that even make sense? And now there are transfer limits. You have not even optimized the channels of financial inclusion, and we are adding another layer. So if I run a business and I have several products and services, the first thing I want to achieve is efficiency, and efficiency is 100%. I've not even fully optimized the existing channels. POS has not even gained 100% adoption rate, and then we are going to eNAIRA. So again, who is fooling who? Stars. I mean, all the USSDs have not even adopted. I mean, they've not even gained 100% adoption. So that's a problem, and that is why there has been so much skepticism on the side of the populace as regards the eNAIRA.
Now, looking at the launch of this app, Nigerians have complained about the fact that it was difficult to sign up on the app, and some also complained about the fact that there was no email or phone number to direct you as regards help or to get help or support, and some have complained also that it's just as if this was like some form of it was developed in a hurry, and that even the very basic things that an app should have weren't factored in. Do you think that if probably the CBN had factored in all of these things, put in the help factor, put in the fact that you could, get a mail to help you navigate the app and all of that, do you think that perhaps that would have sustained the interest of Nigerians?
Again, I strongly feel that solutions should be local.
Okay.
And perhaps that is where we had a problem from the word go.
When you say local, how do you mean?
I would have expected the CBN to outsource eNAIRA to one of our local unicorns. Why take this technology to some companies outside the country, and then you're further weakening the Naira? That's a lot. So tell me, why can't Andela or Flutterwave design the eNAIRA? They have an understanding of the modus operandi of the local market. But again, it is what it is in Nigeria. It is what it is.